Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, part 29 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough. Got ourselves a bit of a long one going on here, folks, starting off by once again entering Lilycove City and then exiting Lilycove City. Keep thinking to myself that the next part of the run has us going to Lilycove City, and I keep being reminded that nope, you actually need to go somewhere else first, and little bits and pieces are starting to come back to me. It's one of those ordeals where no matter how many times you play a game, you are going to forget the second half of it in a lot of cases, or at least that's how it is with me. In this case, it's not a game that I've played a whole bunch of. I've only played it twice through, and that's going to make it even harder for me to remember the second half of it. The biggest example of this being with Metroid Fusion, a game I played again and again and again. When you guys watch me do the 1% challenge run, I still got lost on two separate occasions on where I was supposed to go or what I was supposed to do. That's a game that I played so many times and yet still can't remember certain parts of the second half of it. You know, so when it comes to a game like this that I've only played through twice over, of course I'm going to forget what I'm supposed to do on the second half of it almost all the time. But little bits and pieces do start coming back where I'm like, okay, I do remember having to go back here in order to start doing this. Okay, I do remember this particular part of the game. So we're starting to get little by little, you know, it's coming back to me. It's slowly but surely coming back to me. But we start off, we need to come back all the way to Mount Chimney. And as you can see, we got some random trainers that we're going against. Trainers that I was unaware actually appeared up at Mount Chimney once you've taken care of Team Magma the first time. I had no idea these trainers were up here, so I'm glad I did some searching because I would have completely left them out. But yeah, after you first beat Team Magma up here at Mount Chimney, when you return, you have a couple trainers you can go against, all around lower 21, the lower 20s anyways. And so yeah, I should have went against these guys miles earlier because I'm nearly in my 40s with all of my Pokemon, but that's kind of what happens when you don't realize that trainers are in a particular area. Kind of like in Pokemon Blue, where I forgot all about that one trainer. I can't remember what, I think it was like what route, oh my goodness, it's like after Nugget Bridge. I can't remember what route number it is. What is it, 6 or 7 or something like that? Or does it flip on over? I don't remember. But it's a lot like when I completely forgot that trainer until after I beat the Elite Four, and as I was going to capture the legendary Mewtwo, I ran into that trainer, and it's like, cool, I'm in my level 50s or so, and this guy's going to try and battle me with a level 12. Let's see how this goes. You know, kind of the same ordeal. You kind of forget somebody's there, or in that case, I just completely forgot that I never went against him in the first place, but sometimes at least it's some little funny tidbits every now and then. In this case, it's me kicking the crap out of people up at Mount Chimney for really, I guess they're here for like spa reasons. Some of them, some of the beauty trainers that you go against made a mention of the fact that it was very relaxing up there. And I guess it feels very relaxing enough to want to battle me, go all straight fisticuffs with my Pokemon. So hey, good for them. Once we're done with Mount Chimney, we actually have, you know, the real portion of the video coming up. So we got ourselves a Magna emblem when we finished out on Mount Pyre. We need to utilize that Magma emblem to get to their secret hideout. Apparently, this is something different from Ruby and Sapphire. Again, I never played those games, but depending on which one you go against, well, whichever one you play, will determine the hideout right next to Lilycove City. So if I was playing Ruby or Sapphire, Lilycove City would be the area I'd go to next and deal with the hideout there. But in the Emerald version, Magma's hideout is actually located on the Jagged Pass just south of Mount Chimney. And then Team Aqua's hideout is going to be next to Lilycove, instead of each of them having the area depending on which version of the game that you play. One of the cool little things that they added on. So we're going to be going into the Team Magma hideout by using their emblem, and it is their hideout that is only accessible through the Emerald version. So pretty cool. A couple items you can get there, none of which are hidden. Not even a whole mess of Pokemon that we end up going against really once we enter that area. And speaking of that, another thing you might be noticing when watching this is, hi, look at Milotic, level 33. Last I remember, Milotic was level 29. What's up with that? Well, obviously I got myself some levels. I didn't do it through grinding off camera though. I just took 4 of the rare candies that I had stored away and just threw them all onto Milotic, because in the Magma hideout that we were going into, the highest level Pokemon that you can run into is a level 33. And even then, the average of Pokemon you can run into is level 30. If I go in there with Milotic only level 29, even when using a Super Repel, I'm going to run into a Pokemon every now and then. I had it happen in the most recent, in the last part leading up to this one, where I had to edit out 2 wild encounters because Milotic was a lower level. The same thing is going to be happening over here, except for more often. Because, again, the average is around 30. So because of that, I was like, nope, we are not doing that kind of video editing. And I'm pretty sure people are getting tired of seeing that happening numerous times. So instead, I just decided, get 4 rare candies, boost it up to level 33. And that way I know, guarantee that I'm pretty much not going to run into any wild Pokemon. I may run into that one random level 33, but the chances of it happening is very slim. Luckily for me, it didn't even happen once. Welcome to Team Magma's Hideout in the Emerald version. 3 Pokemon that you can run into here. You can run to a Geodude 55%, Graveler 15%, or a Torkoal 30%. Graveler being the one you can run into levels 30 through 33. So that was the one that I had a chance of running into the most, really. During my test run, I kept running into Gravelers and Torkoals, really, till I hit about level 31, and then the repel started working enough to where I wasn't even really running into Graveler anymore. Didn't really want to take a risk on that. Again, I'm tired of editing it out always. I'd much rather just have the super repel work like it's supposed to. So I figured, alright, just gain a good 4 levels. Milotic was relatively low leveled compared to the rest of my team anyways, so I figured it just kind of works out with itself. And it's not like I'm really going to use those rare candies for much else, you know, except for if I start hitting the later levels and it's like, oh, I could probably use another 2 levels on this Pokemon, or say I'm about ready to go against the Elite Four and Vibrava is no longer a Flygon. I got 2 more levels to go. Well, I'm just going to stick 2 rare candies in it, give myself my Flygon, be ready to go at that point. That's just kind of the only way to do it, in my opinion. But, yeah, this whole entire part's going to be nothing but dealing with Team Magma, which is very interesting because I didn't think it would actually be that long, but there's a lot more Team Magma members than I thought. Even ones that only utilize 1 Pokemon still takes a small amount of time to go through and defeat all of them. And again, we have our items scattered all over the place, none of which are hidden though. They're all out in plain sight. And this place isn't really a maze either. It's very a point A to point B type of ordeal. You just kind of go through, and whenever you see a random hole in the cave, you just go through it, deal with all the Team Magma members there, get all the items from there, and then just keep on going. You know, it's not like with the dealing with Rocket in the Silphco building where you had to know what teleporter took you where. In this case, it's just go through this door, deal with those people, leave that door, keep going south, go through the next door, deal with those. And if you don't want to do that, you know, if you feel like I don't really need to go against the Team Magma members to get the extra experience, well, then you don't have to go through any of the doors. You just got to keep going south. You'll deal with a couple Team Magma members, but as you saw with the ones running in circles, you'll be able to dodge out a lot of them, no problem. I think there's only really, oh goodness, until you get to the actual final room, I think there's maybe only 3 trainers you actually have to fight. The rest you can dodge out. And then in the final room, everyone's set up there that you do have to battle them. But you can just skip out on all the doors if you don't want any of the extra items or any of the extra experience defeating the Team Magma trainers. Just keep on going south and you'll be down to the bottom in no time. But because I'm showing off everything, it takes about a good 25 minutes almost, really. Like, we're not even close to being done with this part. It really does take a while. And again, I'm not exactly sure why it took so long, because it didn't really feel like there was a lot of trainers during my test run, but I guess there is. So, oh well, can only do so much, I guess, really. Anyways, but yeah, that's it. All we're doing is the Team Magma Hideout. I went through the Pokemon in here. The only other thing I could really make a mention to is some of the hilarious comments that you read. One of the things that I have been kind of skipping over is a lot of the comments that trainers will give you before battling or after battling when they want to take your Pokénav and enter in their phone. Hilariously enough, we went against that womanly sage up at Mount Chimney, that elder lady. And in my opinion, based on all the ones that I remember that took your Pokénav to enter in their phone number, hers was actually the most normal. There were so many people that were just like, oh, hey, give me that. I'm going to just throw it in. And it was like, you know, they just snatch a kid's, you know, a 12-year-old kid's phone and just throw their number in it, and it's like, yeah, call me when you want to battle again. Like, we don't really have a choice or an option. But this lady actually had one of the nicest things to say, where she was like, oh my goodness, going against you felt like going against my grandkids. It was so needed for me. I'd be more than happy to have a rematch with you if you would so like. That's one where it's like, yeah, go ahead, put your number in. I won't mind doing a battle. Like, it was such a sweet little thing. As opposed to everybody else that's like, oh, give me this. One in particular was in the last episode. It was that, it was just like a Pokemaniac or something like that, who was like, oh, sometimes when I'm alone, I have my Pokemon battle against each other, which is very weird, not okay, not cool, very creepy, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people felt that way too. And he was one that snatched your phone. Like, God, what did he say? It was something along the lines of like, oh, I like watching our Pokemon battle too. I'm going to call you for a rematch. And it's like, you better not call me for nothing, buddy. The only thing that's going to be called here is 911, putting your ass in jail. Or at least getting a restraining order or something. It was really creepy. And a lot of them are that way, except for that one lady. So that was really nice. At least that's what I remember anyways. I really don't sit around and read what anybody has to say to me a lot of the times. Even in my test run through of it. Test run through, normal run through. I don't really read a whole lot of what goes on. I just want to do the battles and whatnot. I am one of those types of players that's like, let's get moving. Unless I'm playing an RPG where story is huge, and in that case, the story better be huge. Like, I don't really care. To me, this is not a really huge story. It's your basic Pokemon story of, hey, go defeat the gym leaders, go defeat the evil gang, which in this case, these guys aren't really that evil. They just have really, really extreme philosophies on how they view the world. We don't need water, we need more land. Oh, we don't need land, we need more water. And then they just kind of push it a little bit too far. That puts a lot of people in danger. That kind of a little bit weird. In fact, speaking of which, so one of the things I was going to talk about, some of these comments that the Team Magma members make in here are really kind of funny. But speaking on to that, there's one in particular that we are going to be running into that's like, you know, when I joined this team, I thought we were going to be doing something really good, but now I feel like we're taking things to a bit of an extreme, don't you? And it's like, yeah, if you have to confine to a 12-year-old and say, do you think we're doing something wrong here? The answer is probably, yeah, you're doing something wrong here, you know. And it's like little comments like that that are really funny. And if I was doing it live, it probably would be something that I'd be bringing more mention to, because post commentary, you know, only gonna be able to do so much. It is gonna be something fun to do when I do play Pokemon Platinum. However, I am looking forward to seeing like what the script is and what certain trainers are going to say. You know, I'm looking forward to like a good laugh or two based on that. Like this guy right here, you know, he talks about, oh, when we're supposed to be in roll call, I get put in the worst spot because I'm always late for roll call. That's hilarious to me. You know, it's actually really funny because it kind of normalizes some of these members. There's one in particular that's like, he flat out, in fact, I think we already went against him, where he makes a mention to where he's like, I absolutely can't stand the heat. Why did I join this team? And then later after you beat him, he's like, yeah, I should be a member of Team Aqua instead. And it's like, you just did a double battle with somebody that really wants to be on this team. And what you're basically saying in front of her is, oh my God, why did I join this team? I hate the heat. I don't know. To me, that's just so hilarious. And again, it normalizes some people as well. So it kind of makes it really funny. Anyways. Oh boy. How's everyone doing? I've been doing really good. Minus the heat. I know I'm in an area where we don't have to deal with heat as much as other people. When we do have to deal with the heat, I'm going to bitch about the heat because that's what I'm supposed to do when it comes to things being extremely hot. You know, that's just the way it is for everybody. I don't care if it's 90 degrees or 120 degrees. It's still hot, no matter how it is. It may not be as hot as you're hot, but it's still hot. I'm dealing with heat. Shut up. And it actually has been relatively scorchful here compared to what we're actually used to dealing with heat-wise. And again, living in an area where we don't really have an AC makes it a little bit harder. It hasn't been so bad today, though, so hopefully I'll have a nice day at work. James, on the other hand, he's been getting his ass kicked because of the heat. I do not envy him whatsoever. He has to work outside, And yeah, that boy's got to deal with quite a lot that I don't have to deal with. So I'll deal with the heat my own way. Anyways, here comes the Team Magma member. I almost called him a Team Rocket member. Here's the Team Magma member that talks about, he's like, I understand everything, but you know what? Doing stuff like digging up super ancient Pokemon that rips off a whole bunch of stuff. Are we going a little bit too far? Again, if you're asking a 12-year-old, are we going a little bit too far? The answer is yes. Yes, you're going really far. You should probably stop. I've always liked how when it comes to like dealing with the gang members of these games, Team Rocket, Team Magma, Team Aqua, they always use the same Pokemon. There's going to be a Zubat here. In this case, there's going to be a Mightyena there or a Poochyena there. When you're going against Team Magma, it's going to be a Numel or a Camerupt. And if you're going against Team Aqua, it's probably going to be a Wingull with a Pelipper, or more likely it's going to be a Carvanha or a Sharpedo. You know, and it's like, obviously these people need to like diversify a little bit, you would hope. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like, hey, every single Pokemon trainer you go against have their own types. You know, the bird keepers, they're always going to use bird Pokemon. The ancient tomb relic people are going to use ground type Pokemon. Hikers, they're going to use fighting rock Pokemon, you know? So it's like, it's got to be a part of that. But here's the thing. It's not like once you become a Team Magma member or a Team Aqua member or a Team Rocket member, it's not like they just give you like 3 Pokemon and they're like, these are the only Pokemon you can use. No, it doesn't work that way. And I guarantee all of these people joining don't have the same idea that, hey, Mightyena is the way to go, or Camerupt's the way to go, or something like that. I'm pretty sure there are some Team Magma members here that are actually, you know, bird keepers in their off time, you know. I know there's no like bird fire Pokemon, but that shouldn't, like, you know, it's not like the leader is going to be like, oh, you're going to have a diverse set of different kind of Pokemon. That's not okay with me. You know, we have to stick to one type of Pokemon that's weak to only a specific type. Unfortunately, this kid's got the Milotic that deals with all ground and water types that we throw out, and Myena's not really even that strong anyways. So why aren't these, you know, why aren't the gang members using a variety of different type of Pokemon? Because there's a good chance that when they're not part of the gang, you know, they probably have different interests in Pokemon. I don't know. I get it game-wise, but aside from that, I don't get it as much. Anyways, decided not to learn Rain Dance because, again, when it comes to these, I usually prefer the idea of I just want to one-shot everything. And even though Rain Dance can help with that, taking a turn to set up Rain Dance could be all it takes for me to suddenly lose Milotic after. And then the one big use I have of Rain Dance is no longer there, other than using it with Magneton for electric-type moves. But again, I think I'd just much rather be strong enough that Surf can one-shot anything. Makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. The only move in my opinion that's kind of worth learning as far as changing the weather is Sunny Day, because then Solar Beam is an instant use move. That's really about it. Aside from that, again, Rain Dance, sure, the boost of the water type moves and electric type moves, pretty nice. Not really well needed in my opinion when it comes to just doing a normal run. You know, again, competitive, whole different story. And even then, I know most times in competitive, you want to have a Pokemon whose passive starts a weather war. Not one that you have to use your own separate move in order to do it, because that one move could cost you the entire match. So moves like that usually tend to stay away. Or I can just wait for my opponents to use that one move to do that. So if my opponent wants to start a Rain Dance for whatever reason, cool. Then I'm going to take out your Pokemon right then and there, and then I'm going to use your Rain Dance right after. So thank you. I could probably even use the Rain Dance to one-hit your Pokemon and continue on from there. So I usually just tend to stick with that. Anyways, earlier we went against a Team Aqua, what was it, an executive member? I already forgot her name. Well, now we're going against the Team Magma variant of that, and this is Tabitha. A little bit odd to me. Maybe it's just because the only Tabithas I ever known were female, but as far as I know, the guy we're going against here is, well, in fact, a guy. Why is his name Tabitha? Are there actual male Tabithas out there that I am unaware of? Because again, growing up, the only Tabitha I've ever known have been female. I've never known of a male Tabitha. Or is this actually a female? It looks, I mean, the sprite makes it look like a guy, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a female executive, and, you know, then that'd make a little bit more sense. But it looks like a dude to me personally. So, a little bit odd. But maybe there are some male Tabithas out there that I'm just unaware of. I don't know. If you're a dude and your name's Tabitha, cool deal. You're the first male Tabitha I've ever known in my entire life. So, congrats on that. That's not really worth an reward in my book or anything like that, but it's still kind of cool. I think it's kind of like in the same deal where it's like, I guess for some people, Jordan has been a male name, but I've known Jordans that are female. And so, like, whenever I'm talking with somebody and it's like, oh yeah, I know this, this girl named Jordan, and they're like, Jordan's a guy name, and it's like, no, I know a female named Jordan. So maybe it's the same thing. I'm sitting here being like, oh, Tabitha's a female name, and someone's like, no, I know males that are named Tabitha. Who knew? Obviously I didn't. That's the way it goes. So if you've been talking to a lot of the Team Magma members, they keep dropping hints every now and then accidentally about a legendary Pokemon by the name of Groudon. Well, this is Groudon, and I love this little bit right here. Groudon's ready to fly away. What just happened? I also like how they make Groudon, like, not really look as big as he's supposed to be. Groudon's supposed to be this towering giant Pokemon, yet he mostly looked like he was two humans stacked on top of one another. Which, to me, is like, okay, so we're dealing with a Yao Ming, that's it. With that, we are going against the Team Magma main leader. Completely forgot his name. Isn't it Maxie? I think it is Maxie. No, the other guy's name is Archie. I think it is. There's Archie and then there's Maxie, I believe. Probably got it 100% wrong. Couldn't tell you. We'll find out after we beat him. Not a huge lineup, really. He rocks himself a Mightyena, a Crobat. See here, it's a Mightyena, it's a Crobat, it's a Camerupt. What's his fourth Pokemon that he runs? No, those are the only three. It's Tabitha that runs the four Pokemon on us. So not that hard of a fight. The only thing you got to be really worried about is Crobat, being as fast as he is, can outspeed your Pokemon and hit you with a Confuse Ray. Gotta hope that you don't just smack yourself right in the face. Crobat. I always thought Crobat was a really cool looking Pokemon, and it was really good because Zubat and Golbat made fun of their whole entire lives. It's good to see them get an actual evolution and get a little bit of respect because Crobat is relatively fast. And then, yeah, after the Crobat, we got ourselves a Camerupt to deal with. And then after that, we go through whole... Maxie's pretty much fighting us because he's like, hey, Groudon left. Why is that? You had something to do with this, didn't you? And no, we actually didn't have anything to do with it, but good luck trying to convince him of that. And then afterwards, he's like, it's like, oh, Groudon left because of something else. That's what you're trying to tell me, right? And then my character's like, I don't talk. And he's like, whatever, I don't need a kid to tell me that. I know what's going to be going on here. It's a little bit weird. I've always found it interesting how when your main character doesn't talk, the way that they kind of word things around it. Like, my question is, so there has to be some reasonable fact that you're trying to say, aren't you? Are those dots just passing time of him waiting for you to say something? Or are all those dots my main character actually answering him, but we have no idea what our main character is saying because they're supposed to be a representation of us? So those dots are us actually telling the game, yes, that's what we're trying to tell you. I like to think of it more as... oh... No one's saying anything, and they're just kind of staring at each other all confused. Speaking of confused, I took a wrong turn. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, I like to think of just like those long pauses of just them being like, say something? Anything? Are you okay, kid? Like just this 12-year-old mute. Can't speak, doing an adventure on his own. Like, and even then, like, we're like, at the Pokemon Center, their main job is to heal Pokemon, so they don't need to hear you say anything to know they're supposed to do that. You go to the Pokemon, you can just point at what you want and just use your fingers to be like, yeah, 10 of these, or, 20 of these, or something like that. Maybe our kid just doesn't know how to talk whatsoever, and maybe that's the whole entire joke of it. I don't know. All I know is that this long part is done and over with, and I couldn't be any happier about it because I was running out of things to talk about. I really hate these parts where not really much goes on except for one finite thing, and that's exactly what it was. So, sorry about that. It's a very long part, but it is a needed part because you got to do the Magma Hideout in order to continue with the story. With that, call it an evening. Enjoy the rest of yours. Catch you all in the next